This may be the best ab exercise that you're not doing. So if you want to build rock solid abs without having to do hours and hours of crunches and sit-ups, then save this video and we'll go through this exercise step by step right now. And all you're gonna need is an incline bench and an ab mat. Now, the first thing you're going to do is set the incline up to the lowest angle available. Yes, you can have the bench flat, you can have a far steeper incline, but I would encourage you to begin with to go with the lowest incline possible. It's going to be around 15 to 20 degrees for most incline benches. The second thing you're going to do is grab your ab mat, although if you don't have an ab mat, you can use something like a rolled up yoga mat. I would not encourage you to use a foam roller. It's just going to be too solid and too much of a bend in your back. But start with an ab mat and place it on the bench and sit down. Now, the reason we're going to use the ab mat is so that it lengthens your abdominal muscles a little bit. It's going to make the exercise more effective. You're going to get so much more out of every repetition, but we'll go into why later. Once you've set up on the bench, once you've got your ab mat in place, you're going to lie back so that the ab mat is underneath your mid and lower back, which should stretch out and open the front of your abdominals. And then you're going to grab the bench. If for some reason you can't grab hold of the bench, if it's not got somewhere for you to place your hands, then you can grab something like a TRX handle or a gym strap or even a rope attachment from the cables and use that instead. And in actual fact, you may find this makes the exercise feel slightly more effective anyway, and that's perfectly okay. Just go with that. Right, that's the setup done. Let's get into the actual exercise. What I want you to do is now curl your spine up so that almost every part of your back is off of the ab mat. But you probably at the top want to get to the point where you can just about feel the top of the mat underneath your back. This is going to make sure you're not going unnecessarily high, because if you go much further than this position, you're mostly just rounding your back for no reason. It's not going to make the exercise more effective for your abdominals. And B, if you completely move off the ab mat, there is a small chance, if your bench is a bit slippery, it's just going to slide down and you'll have to reset. And then it's simple. You're going to very slowly uncurl your spine over the mat until you are almost completely stretched out at the bottom position. The key is to go slow and controlled and through a range of movement that you can feel your abdominals working. And if we don't have the ab mat there, it's still a great exercise. Like if you don't have anything to put under your back and you just go down to the bench, it is still going to be a fantastic exercise. But we're just getting a bit more out of it if we've got a rolled up yoga mat or an ab mat underneath us. Don't go so far that you lose tension by putting your bum on the bench or your feet on the floor, and then simply reverse the motion slowly and under control by utilizing and tensing your abdominal muscles. Now, this to start with might be a bit too challenging, so here are some things you can do to make the exercise suitable for your level. First of all, you can bend your knees and have your legs closer towards you, and that will make the exercise slightly easier. Obviously, the flip side of that is if you want to make it harder, make sure your legs are as straight as possible and as far away from you as possible. And if you still can't manage the concentric portion, which is perfectly normal because this is a very tough exercise, then still do the lowering part, the eccentric, and then do the concentric with assistance. This is the same principle method we would use with chin-ups, where if you can't do a full chin-up on the way up, but you can hold onto the bar from the top and lower slowly, that's still an effective way to train and to build the strength of those muscles. And so you're going to do the same thing here. Put your feet on the bench, use a bit of momentum, use your leg drive to kick up to the top, and then lower under control really, really, really slowly. Put your feet down on the floor, walk your feet up onto the bench, kick yourself back up, and repeat the process. Even if you can only do the eccentric, the lowering part, this is still going to be a really valuable way to train your midsection. Now, in terms of reps and sets, I would actually keep it fairly low to start with. Anything around 6 repetitions is going to be great so long as it's slow and controlled. If you rush the repetitions, if you just drop on the lowering, then yeah, you're going to do far more reps. But if you keep a nice slow lowering, 3 to 4 seconds on the way down, a big stretch, control on the way up, then I would say about 6 repetitions is a good place to start. And if you get upwards of 10, then you probably need to find a way to make it a little bit more challenging. After all, the whole point of this exercise is that we don't have to do a ton of reps. We don't have to do 20, 30, 50, 100 repetitions like you might have done with things like crunches and sit-ups before. A few very tough reps is going to go a long way. In terms of sets, 2 to 3 right now is probably going to be fine. In fact, the first time you do this, you will probably get quite a lot of DOMs through your abdominal section for a few days afterwards. So 1 or 2 sets the first time you do it, of about 4 to 6 repetitions. If you can manage that, then increase the sets slightly up to 3 or 4. But once you can do 8 to 10 repetitions, then I would just say find a way to make this exercise a little bit more challenging. You can hold a weight between your ankles. You can straighten your legs out a little bit more. You can change the angle that the bench is set up to. But look, the problem with most core exercises is that you have to do so many of them. You have to hold planks for minutes at a time. You have to do dozens or hundreds of reps across the week of sit-ups or crunches, and this exercise solves that. 3 or 4 tough sets once or twice a week is going to tick that box when it comes to training your abdominals directly. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure you leave a like on this video. And I'll catch you on the next one.